Home, a story by Alina Șerban, illustrations by Vera Surățel. Elena mounts on top of the pile of garbage and draws with her hands in the air the roof of her house, dedicated to kids, adults, and all earthlings living without a shelter. Home is a story made possible with the support of BRD Groupe Société Générale and Foundation 9. When I was small, I remember one winter, me and Mom were sticking labels on the jars of jam. A really harsh noise. The scary bulldozer came and ate our house entirely, and all jars broke. Mom was crying. She was trying to gather some of the things and was shouting, "My pants! Wait, they were brand new!" Scared, I turned myself into a little dot. No, even smaller. Until I couldn't see myself anymore. I felt like the ground cracking beneath us. Ever since that bad bulldozer, they brought us here. And Mom told them, "This is not a house meant for human beings. It's dirty and it stinks really bad. What person would like living among trash?" Back in our home, it smelled like strawberries. Here we don't make jams anymore. Mom say we don't have anything to prepare them with. Now I'm big. I can reach any doorknob. When it's hot, I like to go with my mom and help her. She tidies up other people's houses and in the summer cleans their carpets. And this is what I like the most. We go with our own bucket with brushes big and small, and I swipe along with her, and then she lets me slide all the way down the rug. I once find out how to make big bubbles and burst them while sliding by. Incoming! The garbage dump is sometimes so big that you have the feeling there is no room left for the sky. The car arrived. There's a lot of stuff people throw out that is still nice. I look back to check Mom doesn't see me. She doesn't let me come here. It's dangerous. And I'll get dirty. She fetches water from far away. See here, from our place, there's this kind of mud path, and you go all the way down, and then you wait until you get a ride from someone, and if no one passes by, you go on foot until close to the city, where there is this drinking fountain that sometimes doesn't work, and then you have to ask people nicely, and it's so sad when they tell you no. Let's see. Hey! A doll's hand. We must save her. Elena pulls the arm of a doll with yellow hair, while the other arm is pulled by a very big rat. Frowning a bit, the girl pulls harder and catches the doll in her arms. The rat gets angry and runs after her. Elena runs quickly. She's almost back to the place where she lives and thinks she lost the rat. She smiles and gets to look at the captured doll when the rat jumps in her face. She tries to fool it, and they are chasing each other around her mother's bucket. The girl completely forgets how hard it is for her mom to fetch water and that this water was meant for a nice bath tonight. She throws the water on the rat, thinking that this will defeat it. But upon the water's touch, the rat's hair gets all so pretty, like in the commercials. Elena gets even more scared and puts the bucket on top of it. She kicks it with her leg and the rat rolls all the way down while inside the bucket. The bucket breaks. The rat, after so many spins, decides to run. The girl now understands she broke her mom's bucket that she used for work and in which she also fetched water. And the water is gone too. She's crying, but then tells herself, I have to fix this. I have to bring back some water and Mom's bucket. Elena mounts on top of all this garbage where you can see the whole world. She whistles in the air and a big crow appears. Elena is sad, still crying. She looks at her doll and tells the crow, I don't want to be like me anymore. I want to be like her, like all girl princesses. What beautiful hair she has. Kids like her never play with me. The crow tells her, you are beautiful exactly the way you are. The crow leaves her in front of a building where there are a lot of kids wearing the same pajamas, looking out the window and seeming so lonely. The crow lifts Elena again and puts her on the windowsill. She enters that room and loves it. It looks so good comparing to where she lives. Elena marvels while looking through the room. Wow, they have everything. Looks like a room where kids live. She heads towards the switch and flicks the button. It's so easy. Click, click, on, off. Now this is a home. On, off, click, so easy. A sniffle is heard. There's a girl in the bed. She's sad, with capital S. Roberta, girl number 67 here, explains to Elena that here live only mothers on a schedule and children big and small with whom she sometimes fights. Some kids have parents that live elsewhere. They go lots of times home to their family. Roberta wishes she could do that as well. Today is Roberta's birthday. The most preferred mom on a schedule, the best with soft hands, beautiful voice and smelling of vanilla sugar, didn't come today. Her real daughter is ill and she had to switch shifts with another mother on schedule. The vanilla sugar mother would not have forgotten that today is her birthday, but now everyone has forgotten. The whole world, the whole universe has forgotten. Elena takes another look at the captured doll and gives it to Roberta. The girls hug. Roberta looks at the blonde girl, hugs her too and says, I want to be like her, like the girls who get a family, to be... Elena interrupts her. You're good and beautiful exactly the way you are. Elena, you can come to our place whenever you want. My mom can also be your mom. Roberta, and you can come here to have a bath. I'll sneak you in. Elena, oh yeah, Mom, the bucket. Can you give me a bucket with water in it for my mom? For our place? I think you have several here. Roberta, I'd give you one, but I can't. Nothing here is mine. Nothing makes this my home. They look at each other, sigh, and smile. It's so good to have friends, the girls utter in their minds. The girls walk down the street and hear, do you have a leu or a penny perhaps? Or maybe a battery? This small radio is my friend, and he lost his voice now. Come with us. We're also looking for a bucket. The girls walk with the gentleman living on the street and his small radio. They walk together along 1, 2 streets and pass by big and small houses, gray or green or yellow buildings with dry vegetations on top and on their sides like frizzy hair, with attics, balconies, windows with several layers of dust, with curtains that were once clean, with doors, gates, fences and locks. The three of them look at so many houses through which the wind blows. And they walk. And they keep on walking until they see in the distance a bigger house. Is the biggest house in our country. It's actually the heaviest house in the world. Elena looks at the reddish-pink hued sky. Elena, it will get dark soon and I must get back home. But I don't want to return without fixing what I've broken. Gheorghe, Everyone makes mistakes. I am sure your mother is waiting for you home. I would say for us to split up and maybe we find something around this big house. In the pupils of their eyes, you can see this big and tall building, and next to it, the dome of a very imposing and rich church. The three of them split in order to go around the whole building. Gheorghe gives each girl a leaf and says, "Use this to whistle so we can find one another easier." His eyes descend along this big house all the way down the fence. The sun rays pierce through the fence's forms, etching models on the asphalt. He was going faster and noticed that whenever quickening his steps, the sun fence models were reminding him of the way he saw the world while aboard the trains when he was working as a train mechanic. He went through mountains, passing by bodies of water, meadows with cows and ships, besides flocks of birds, with his small radio that was accompanying him on board trains, in train stations, cabins of electrical and sometimes even steam engines, all with their own control panels, and how he would sneak through all the hard-to-reach places, through all the noise and dirt, and yet how he was all enjoying it so much. The shadow of Mr. Gheorghe carries years of memories when he used to be a train mechanic, visible only to him. For the rest of the world, for the rest of the people, Gheorghe is just a homeless man, turned invisible. He senses something bothering his leg, his heel. Oh, a pebble got into the sole of his boots so old that they lost all color. He looks closer and notices a whole chunk of the sole fell off. He continues walking with his heel completely out and gets even more upset. A bitter tear hangs on a corner of his eyelid, runs down his cheek all the way down to his neck like on a slide. He continues walking and notices something with the side of his eye. He doesn't pay attention, yet after a few steps his mind tells him that he passed something interesting. Passed by a sign, an arrow pointing towards the Ministry of Useless Things. He follows the arrow and reaches a huge parking lot filled with lots of containers displaying different messages. Too many dots, too little dots, unpaired, and many others. He takes out the leaf and whistles so that the girls join him. In the parking lot, the containers were lifted by a heavy machinery, a cousin of the scary bulldozer with 3 heads, which spills everything in a ravenous engine that coughs out loudly a heavy cloud. Startled, the girls look around and run quickly towards the container that's just lifted by the machinery. Elena jumps quickly on one of the wheels of the container. Meanwhile, she notices how its label is falling off. She reads letter by letter. A-S-C-R-A-T-C-H. A scratch. Elena does some reading exercises with her mom at home. She doesn't attend school, although she really wants to, but her mother puts money aside for them to move away, so that one day she will be able to attend school. She pulls herself towards the lid. She gets inside the container and finds lots of brand new buckets and broomsticks meant to be melted away because they had just one scratch. I found it! Stop! She tries to open the container's door, but it's stuck. Oh no. Help! The machinery is still holding the container up in the air, waiting for the melting engine to finish its last container. Mr. Gheorghe and Rebecca head quickly behind the machinery and look closer. Elena cries, "I'm scared! Please!" They must find out how to hold it. Mr. Gheorghe notices a small button up above but cannot reach it. Roberta says, "Yes, I see it." Roberta climbs quickly on his shoulders and reaches the button. She presses it. Nothing happens. She noticed that this wasn't a button, but a tiny hole meant for a sort of a thin key. Roberta's heart beats so fast as if it climbed all of her throat. Elena cries, "I'm scared! Please!" Roberta looks around, looks down, reaches her face with her hands, and then by a force of habit puts her hands in her pocket. She finds a hairpin. She never pulls her hair up, but she's always told to have it well kept, just in case possible parents would visit. And for sure they wouldn't want a girl with messy hair, as the mothers on schedule tell her. She takes the hairpin out of the pocket. She tries to straighten it. It's hard, but she doesn't give up. She straightens it, even though it's hurting her fingers. She thrusts it quickly in the place where the button was supposed to be. The machinery stops completely. Together they pull Elena out of the container. Together they find other containers there with everything inside. Boots of different colors, that's true, but at least for both feet and brand new. And they also found batteries for the small radio. The crow arrived too, and they all were overjoyed and danced happily. Years passed by, and the three of them instituted the Ministry of Useful Things, where no one, no human, no earthling is left without a good home, where empty homes and churches are inhabited by humans and earthlings, where kids play with all the other kids and they go to school and each summer hold championships of sliding down rugs filled with big bubbles made out of soap. Incoming!